So, is this recording? Yes. I tried. To do that.
You did. It was lovely.
Okay. Do you know how to say it, Nana?
Girl, I stay in my motherfucking lane. I believe that's a Oh boy.
It's Thursday. It's another week with Around the Way Curls, and we still have our most, I can't get this title, our most guest spotlights.
Now you just say a word.
Guest appearances. We have our most guest appearances with guest host Naana. Come the fuck through. Welcome back, girl.
Hey. Hello.
I'm so grateful for you. For those of you who don't know the behind the scenes, we actually record these 2 episodes in one evening. And I'm used to it now.
It's very productive.
AKA a long ass night, girl. We've been doing this for a minute now. So I just want to say thank you. I'm really grateful. It's been a pleasure.
I'm having such a good time.
I know that people are enjoying it as well. Thank you all for listening and joining us for this week. Antoinette is out still. She's working. Again, send her energy of recovery as she pushes through. Her 9 to 5 has got her in a chokehold and in a war room.
In a war room.
And that's what she said to me. I was like, okay, sounds
and
about
she
right.
she said it like so matter of factly, like duh. And I was like, girl, I've worked since 15. I ain't never been in nobody's war room.
Girl,
but
what in the violence?
What is that? Exactly, it feels very violent.
The fuck?
But they get into it. I guess they get into it. So
yeah, it's a 24-hour project. She be saying stuff. I'd be like, yes, okay.
What?
What's up?
24 hours? For real? Are you serious?
They have to like push something through. There's a hard deadline. It's a big project. So everybody's on shifts. She's not having to work 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it ain't a regular day. So shout out to her working hard. Shout out to you, Nana, for joining us.
Thank you for this opportunity. I love to be in community with you.
We had a longer episode last episode, and we're going to keep it short and intense.
Okay.
Yes. It's going to be short, but it's going to be intense because we're going to do Around the Way Curls.
Oh my goodness.
Some updates. I don't know if you know, but I've been trying to take myself on dates.
I love that.
I'm really trying to tap into myself in a way that I haven't had the opportunity to do just as a mom. Just the expectations of being in a partnership, you like get wrapped up in your partner or whatever. But I'm like, fuck that. So I'm trying to like take myself on dates. And what I'm learning from this is that those dates don't mean anything really.
What does that mean?
They do and they don't. So I went and I booked myself for dates. So I booked myself to a show in New York to go. Okay. I don't know if you know Nick Hakim, and Michelle Nagadejello. I don't know that beautiful being's name. You know Michelle?
I don't.
You might, but okay. Anyway, she's amazing. She was like the original Sid from the internet.
Oh, okay.
So she's like a queer singer, soulful, like I would let her take me down any day.
Yeah, okay. I have to go look her up.
Yes, Michelle is the one right there.
Uh-huh.
She walked. So Sid to run. But I plan to do that in New York.
Okay.
On Wednesday. And then I booked another date with myself in New York on Sunday to go see a play. And it sounds good in theory, but energetically, I can't even, I'm like making these expectations that this is going to fill me or like do something for me. But for real, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm having to learn to really be in communion with myself. And again, not performing this like self-care shit when like girl, sit the fuck down. Make a date for yourself in your bed because you're still not listening to yourself and tapping in.
I'm so happy you made that distinction, because I think I was on a similar journey a few years ago where I was like, I need to be okay in my solitude. But my solitude always included a book or a podcast or going to the movies or a show or what have you. And it's like, yes, I'm singularly by myself, but I'm distracting myself with all of these other things. And so what would it be to really just sit in silence by myself? Can you do that?
Torture.
And so,
pain.
And that is something to unpack.
Girl.
No, surely, like there's a thing there that I would encourage you to explore. Not to say that going to the show and going to the plays, that's lovely. But to your point, you're not really
not compulsive
alone. You're not centering yourself.
No.
You're engaging with so many other distractions. Are you going to be able to fulfill whatever it is that you're yearning for?
No, and I realized that. So I was like, okay, girl, you have to go even. You have to sit with this pain that I'm experiencing, quite honestly. Like, this has been a hard... It's okay. Life is pain and suffering, Nana.
Life has pain and suffering. It is pain and suffering. But also, listen, that is your reality. Who the fuck am I?
No. In this moment, I'm feeling a lot these past...
Oh, babe.
Yeah, that I cannot escape. Yeah. And I cannot do a little performance and make cute. And that I cannot project or even share with people in a particular way. There is this like, I have to sit with my pain and let it move through me or teach me or do whatever it needs to do with me in this moment. And I am like, fuck that. But here we are. For real. I am kicking and screaming, to be completely honest.
I'm very proud of you, for recognizing that you're not really doing the thing that you want to be doing. Because that's a feat in itself. It's very easy to pretend to yourself that like, oh yeah, of course. Like, I'm going on these dates, but like, are you? And I just implore you to dig a little deeper. And so maybe it is, something at the house, or you just go for a walk without your phone, without your headphones. You know what I'm saying? Like,
A friend of mine took this breathwork class. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen these ads. I had seen it on my Instagram, and the ads are just people. It's a huge room, and there's just people lying on the floor on their like yoga mats.
Okay.
Head to foot, head to foot, head to foot. And they edit this video of people just crying hysterically.
Oh, wow.
And so it's this breathwork practice, and it was started by this white guy who claims to be a practitioner.
Okay.
And so he's practicing breathwork techniques that came from India in the pranayama style of like moving your energy through breathwork. And they're designed to increase your body's energetic capacity and cultivate your mind-body balance. Essentially, though, what he's having you do is deprive your brain of oxygen. That's what he's actually doing. And what that does is that in that altered state of consciousness, our minds are no longer functioning, and we're then tap into our limbic system. So your body kind of goes into fight or flight mode, and it sends energy to the parts of your body that need the most healing.
Interesting.
Physically. And so he's saying that ends up happening energetically, and we tap out of our conscious mind and go into our subconscious mind, where we hold a lot of long-term memories, emotional trauma, roots of beliefs are stored there. And with proper intention, he says, we are able to delete the things that do not serve our growth. A lot of bad habits, toxic relationships, unhealthy patterns. And essentially, because you don't have any oxygen, your body craves it. It's basically a fast for your cells. So it gets rid of the dead cells and quickly restores new cells, which happens when you deprive your body, when you fast from food. And this is the theory for oxygen. It's a bit crazy.
Girl,
like I said, it's a bunch of white people crying on the floor, snot, just crying, breathing, hyperventilating, essentially. I don't know if there's brown bags involved, but
I'm just like, is there a technician on site if somebody like
I hope so.
goes into some shock? Feels
I've had a friend who's
dangerous.
done that and had a good experience from it. I don't know if I'm that desperate, I don't know that it is a sign of desperation, and I take that back.
No, yeah.
And I that is not the energy that I have. I don't know how convinced I am quite yet. I think I need to learn more.
Would you be willing to do
it? And I can cry on the floor by myself. I don't need any.
That's why I was like, can I just get a step-by-step guide? Like, how long do I have to hold my breath? Do I need to pay you for that? That feels ridiculous.
It's the breath technique that it's probably like you hold your breath for a certain amount of seconds and you let go. And you repeat that for like 4 minutes until it makes your body feel like you're depriving it of oxygen, because it's a different way of breathing, which alters your mind state, which then you trip, like you trip balls. And I know this, I know that I believe wholeheartedly in psychedelics and like psilocybin as therapy. So I believe the altered state of mind could do it. I might fuck around and pay it. I'll let you know. I might fuck around and do it.
Well, please.
I don't know.
I would be willing. I don't know that I necessarily want to delete some of my past things, but I would like to tap into them. And I do feel a little, what is the word? A little removed from parts of my life. Like they don't feel like they belong to me. Like I'm kind of watching somebody experience a thing. I don't know what that is. Me and my therapist are trying to figure it out. And so I'm wondering, and so very much, I also feel like drugs that come from the earth, they're not drugs. So mushrooms, all that things, ayahuasca. I think there's another one from the folks in Costa Rica that's not as crazy as ayahuasca. It's like a little milder. Definitely willing and interested in participating in those because I do. Shrooms? Yes.
Okay.
Well, microdose them. Okay. So not like a full trip or anything like that, but really enjoyed it. And I was able to release in a way that I haven't always been able to. Yeah. Ooh. That's
how you doing? Sorry, that was a lot. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how this goes.
Please, no, I'm so serious. Keep me abreast because I may want to participate.
Name, a technique, and I'm going to search for it. And I'll share it by the end of this episode so people can do their own research and see about it. White guy with like,
I mean, you kind of lost me at
on his neck. I know that's the part where I'm just gonna be like,
like, can I just go? I'll go to the Indian.
Yeah, can I get some brown people to do this?
Exactly.
Can I do this with brown people? I don't know if I want to be splitting energy with a bunch of white folks. If that's what we're doing, so that's the part that gives me pause. Yeah. Although I've heard, or maybe again, not just white folks, but a bunch of different energy of people that are like, we're doing heavy work together that I don't know feels. Super vulnerable. But anyway, how you doing?
I'm unraveling.
Yes.
I think kind of to the piggybacking off something that I said recently, I've been very tightly wound a lot of my life. Like very aware of what expectations have been put on me, expectations that I've had for myself, feeling responsible for a lot of people in my life. And I think for the very first time, I am I'm just stepping out of that. And it is terrifying. Like it is very, very scary to not know what is next. But I am kind of reveling in that space as well. And so I'm just...
You don't know what's next in terms of your, how you relate with people in a particular way?
Yes, that I don't know how, because I think when you decide to show up differently in people's lives than how they've known you, that definitely shifts relationships.
Yes.
And that is really scary because I don't know who I will lose or who I will gain. I'm also really terrified because I don't know what's next in my life. 2022 was very, very devastating for me and my family. And there were a lot of things that I wasn't able to accomplish or focus on because of so many different things that were going on. And so I don't want to consider 2023 as like my reset or like, I'm getting a second chance at it. I'm just going to push forward and try to attain those things again. But after this year, I don't know what my life is going to look like. And I don't think that I've ever been able to say that in my life. Because I think I had a very clear idea of what I wanted my trajectory to be. And as a Capricorn and somebody who was a planner and it's scary, but like also really, really exciting. And I'm choosing to see the beauty in all of the unknown things and in the finding out. And sometimes my homegirl said that this is our delusional era. Like anything I want, it's mine. I can have it. I don't care. And then sometimes reality taps me on my shoulder and is like, bitch, I'm still here. And I'm like, oh, so it's an interesting space to be in for somebody who's never allowed themselves to be free before in whatever way you're hearing that. Because I still think I'm trying to figure out what my freedom looks like.
I love this for you.
Thank you, babe.
I love this for you. It's terrifying, but listen, the more free you get, and you be like, girl, let me show you what I've been through it. Let me show you what's like on this other side. It just opens it up for a lot of people. So
I'm hoping.
Woo! Shout out to you.
Thank you.
Shout out to all of our listeners as well. Thank you for listening. It's Thursday. That means for some of you showed up twice in the week, and we're really grateful for you and for following us and supporting us. We are going to ask more of you, though. If you could please subscribe, comment, rate, and share this podcast if it's touching you, if it resonates with you. We appreciate it. If it's just a text to your cousin or whoever, your friend, if it's sharing it on the socials, if it's in fact going onto the Apple podcast platform and making a comment and rating and subscribing, that is top of the line. We appreciate it.
Yes, let the people know.
If you'd like to see our faces and all of our reactions, our backgrounds, you can also see us in action on Patreon. It is a subscription service where you do pay to get to see us in video, as well as some back of the house things. $5, $7, and $10 is the subscription cost. I think somewhere in the middle is a very sweet number. Shout out to our recent patrons, Darius.
Why you say that man's name like that? Not Darius. But also, that's kind of how it looks.
But also, it ain't Darius. It's Derrius. Darius.
Yeah, Darius. Darius probably fine as fuck. What's up?
Listen. Ruby.
Yes.
I love the spelling of this. I love it. I love how I love it. I love the decisions that everybody makes. And A.Plata. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining the Patreon community.
Welcome to the squad. Yes.
We're just going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our main topic today. All right, Naana. Here we go. Woo! And so we're back, and we're going to jump right into our topics. Unfortunately, Internet does have access to the voicemails, and she's away, and she didn't send me any because she's busy. So we're going straight in.
Okay.
we no what's it called?
I don't know what you're about to
When
say.
you have sex, no
Foreplay.
Foreplay. We're going straight in, raw dogging.
I was like, loop. That's what I thought you was going with it.
Any type of thing to make it easier, we aren't doing. I've been trying to sit with, I've been aware of these prompts for a while. And every now and then I think it's nice that we offer you guys some prompts. As listeners, you tend to enjoy it, something you can take away and implement in your own lives. And the god, Audre Lorde, came up with these prompts, or rather, this woman, Divya Victor, adapted these prompts inspired from Audre Lorde's Cancer Journals book, in which she recounts her struggle with breast cancer and just connects it to her advocacy, identity, all the amazing things that intersect with her being. And so Divya Victor came up with these prompts, and I have known about them for a while, but this is the first time that I've actually put them into practice. And so I shared them with Naana, and I had the idea of what would come up for us if we shared our experience with writing these prompts out daily. So this is kind of an exercise that I think could and should be done daily. Asking the same things opens up, unravels, deepens, and often reveals something else. And I will first share the questions, the prompts, and then we'll go into it. So, number one, what are the words you do not have yet? Or for what do you not have words yet? Number two, what do you need to say? List as many things as necessary. Number three, what are the tyrannies you swallow day by day and attempt to make your own until you will sicken and die of them? Still in silence. The drama.
The drama.
The consequence.
But she
the
said,
urgency.
your silence will not protect you.
Child.
And that bitch was not lying.
In parentheses after this, list as many as necessary today, then write a new list tomorrow and the day after. Number four, if we have been socialized to respect fear more than our own needs for language and definition, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen to me if I tell this truth? So answer this today and every day. You want to go first?
No.
It's a heavy one, y'all, but I think this is really necessary.
Good Lord.
I had themes. I had a theme around this first question of what are the words you not have yet, or for what do you not have words yet? And so in my writing daily, and I didn't, to be completely honest, I often didn't have the wherewithal to really dive into these. I was like, so that's why it needs to be done daily, right? Because it's like uncovering. And so for me, I did notice a theme though, when I would write my little rinky-dink answers. For the first one, there's something around that I don't have the words for yet, around something that feels like insatiable discontent that I have. And also the ways that I have no idea how to practice self-regard. You know, like I know what self-regard means, but I do not have the language of how I want that to be expressed by myself, what to speak of asking other people to regard me.
To regard you? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, and we talked about this in the last podcast. I guess there's this story that I have about myself about how, and you mentioned it before, around like people pleasing and around having a very I just acquiesce. I'm just like, okay, you know, and often don't realize the consequences of it until much later. And I think it's now coming up for me. And again, I don't have the language yet to like really talk about why,
how that
what,
feels,
who, how it feels, the consequence of it, and what I want from it. But that's what came up for me for that first question.
Does that mean that it's my turn?
Yeah.
Yes. I think a similar thing. I will also be very honest. These questions terrified me. Oh, yes. And as somebody who would like to consider them very self-aware, very open to self-exploration, I do enjoy journaling. I had a gratitude journal for a really long time. These feel like an invasion of parts of myself I don't know that I'm ready to explore yet, truly. And so I think I did it when you had suggested that we do this up into the episode. I think I did the first day and I was like, yeah, this is probably
never mind.
What it does. I don't know about this. But I thank you for sharing this with me because I do really want to challenge myself to do it. Let's just say for a week, 7 whole days, and see what comes up, because I think it's very easy to identify. It's very easy to say what you are feeling, like, because we know what that is. But the things that I don't have the words of yet are sometimes things that I'm not ready to identify. And it's not, I was realizing it's not that I don't have the language. I don't want to talk about these things. Yeah.
Not you coming on the podcast to potentially share with the world.
No, not today.
I'm just saying. I hear that. I respect that. That is so real.
Yeah, I think so that what was like, I would begin writing things, and to your point, just like jotting down things that are not really logical. They're not articulate. It doesn't make a whole lot of, like, if somebody had to read this, they couldn't. And that's the thing too, was like, this is my like, who's going to ever see this? But I was so scared to even put it on paper. And so that was what was coming up for me in answering a lot of the questions, but definitely for the first one, it was like things around sexual assault that I'm not really ready to talk about yet. Things around my relationship with my mother that I'm not really ready to talk about yet. My brother and I are not in a good place right now. My feelings around that, and feeling so conflicted because I love this person and I'm so angry with them. I'm not really ready. Like, it was just a lot of things that I know how I feel, but I'm just not ready to put into words yet.
Yeah, that's so real.
It was just, that was like constantly, I would start writing and I would retreat.
But that you answered the question. I don't have words for that yet.
Yeah.
But it's also acknowledging, like, I see you over there, I feel you over there, but
stay over there.
Stay over there. Yeah. It's going to take a minute to unpack that. And just acknowledging that, I think, releases, it pays respect to that part of you. It feels like, that, no, I see you. Yeah. But also, I can't.
Yeah.
Make that.
I think for a long time, I even felt this way a little bit when I started therapy, was like, every session we need to like get to a resolution around something. There needs to be some reconciliation. There needs to be some progression. And it's like, healing is not linear. That's not how this works. And I love that you said just acknowledging what the things are is so it's huge, because a small part of me was like, okay, well, it's here now, so let's address it. And it's like, but you're not ready, sis. But at least you're aware, and that is good enough. That's worthy that you are at least aware. And I think for a long time I was beating up on myself because I just wanted to get to the end. And it's like, you are going to be here by the grace of God for a while. You're going to have some time to work through the things. Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Number 2, what do you need to say? It's as many things as necessary.
Oh boy. Okay, we have a list. Yeah.
I don't. Again, I'm not showing y'all this paper, but just like you said, I just like cats are fucking
right.
But what I did, I need to say I'm tired. I don't have the capacity. And I don't know what the fuck I wrote here. Hold up. And there are parts of me that I don't, similar to exactly what you said, I actually don't know how to reveal them. You know, like I can't. There's this, and maybe this is an answer to another question, to the fourth one, but there's this way that we have been socialized to, one, just like you said, I gotta get to it. I have to resolve it. And I have to have an audience somehow. Like I gotta share this, you know, I have to share this
it's
with
not
somebody.
real if I just know it.
So I have to like share it with somebody. I have to get approval in a way from somebody. I can't sit with myself and be in awe and audience of myself. It's not real unless somebody else sees it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what I need to say is there's parts of myself that I don't know how to even reveal. I don't know how to even bring it up. And I'm scared to show it to other people in this like weird, raw, messy thing. And something isn't working. Something isn't working that I keep doing over and over. I can't. I can't. And I need to say that to like every single person and part of my life. And that's terrifying. To what you were speaking about in your unraveling.
This one I think was the hardest because it was easy to come up with a list, which let me know that there's so much that I'm holding. There's so much that I'm carrying that I, for whatever reason, don't feel like I can share.
And you don't have to now either.
I'll, cause you gave us a handful, so I'll give a handful. It was really around a lot of the hurt and the harm that I've experienced from people who told me that they would love me. And that's platonic friendships, that is familial friendships, that's romantic ones. Like I realize how many times I've swallowed my own pain to keep from someone's discomfort. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore because the love and the care that I so freely give folks, I for a long time, I don't think that I believed that I deserved it. Care was very transactional for me. Like I've dealt with a lot of abandonment in my life, and in an attempt to keep people near, that's kind of where the people pleasing comes from. That's kind of where I will betray myself for your benefit because I don't want to lose you. And so there were so many instances of relational experiences that I've had where I wish I would have just told somebody, you're really hurting me. You've disappointed me. This is causing me harm. And I didn't do it because I didn't want to lose them. And it is disappointing to me sometimes to think about how much I've allowed for people to misuse me. But, you know, when you know better, you do better. But it is a very hard thing to unlearn when if I show up earnestly and honestly, are people still going to care? Are they going to still want to be around? And I would like to say that I've fostered relationships with people who sincerely care about who I am as a person. But I don't know, because it's very easy to like somebody when they do things for you, or when they allow you to show up the way that you want to, or where there really aren't any parameters around what your relationship looks like. Boundaries was not a thing that I ever created, maintained, or what have you. And I realized once you start putting those things up, it's a very clear pipeline to when people start trickling away.
Yeah. Yeah. And it hurts, and it triggers all of the abandonment.
It's like it's a horrible, it's like a vicious cycle. And so that was a lot of the stuff that was coming up to me about things that I have needed to say, that I've wanted to say, but just didn't for a myriad of different reasons.
How did it feel writing it down, though? Did it feel like more stuff came up than you?
Oh, yeah.
Even imagined, right?
For sure. Things that I didn't think even mattered anymore. Things that I thought that I had gotten over. When you are just doing like that mindless writing, and it's kind of just like literally from brain to finger, anything can kind of resurface. And so that was what I was recognizing. But more than anything, I was so sad for myself. Because like for a long time, I felt like I was the only person that I really had in my corner. And even then I still was betraying myself. Yeah. Like I couldn't even protect myself in situations where I deserved to be protected. Like that sadness, that hurt, that disappointment in me, not necessarily sure in other people, but like, why didn't you protect yourself? Why didn't you?
And I bet there were plenty of legitimate reasons.
Sure.
And plenty of conditioning. And again, we learn these.
Multiple things can be true at the same time.
You learn to disarm yourself in a way, or be available to people in a way, as a survival mechanism. That's like, yeah. And I just want to acknowledge how hard it is to sit with that, right? Because like there is another side, or there is a deepening and a appreciation of yourself, or like a way that you're going to see yourself differently as you sit with this. Yeah. Who knows? In 10, 15, who knows, 5 months. But the pain of like sitting with that regret, shame.
Yeah.
You just sit in it. You sit, and there's no escaping it. Yeah. Yet. In the presence. Being present with it. There's no, if you're really present with it, it's just like it fills you.
It just washes all over you. For sure. Yeah.
And that is not for the weak of heart.
No,
that is hard work to do. What are number 3, what are the tyrannies you swallow day by day and attempt to make your own until you will sicken and die of them, still in silence? Who are you talking to? First of all.
Right, like, Audrey, please. I think these two kind of 2 and 3 worked in tandem for me. Yeah. And then even not only was there, were there things that I needed to say to other people, but there were probably things that I really needed to say to myself. Validating my own beauty, my own worth, honoring the body that I have. Negative speak was such a pervasive part of my identity for a long time. And it is a weird juxtaposition to hear very flattering things from people and never feel them about yourself. And so I think that those were some of the tyrannies that I was swallowing day by day, that were slowly killing me, was just having to feel like I needed to receive all of my validation externally for it to matter, and that whatever I thought about myself could never be the good thing. That's kind of what, in combination with some of the things that I needed to say to other people, was what really came up for me for number 3. What about you?
I think for me, in my conditioning, my survival mechanisms that I learned, that self-sacrificing, or that keeping the peace is an honorable thing, is a being quote unquote good, being amiable, being somebody that doesn't cause a lot of ruffle a lot of people's feathers, is easy. Will bring like ease into your life,
right?
But really, it brings ease into other people's lives,
right? Which in turn makes people comfortable with you, and
makes people comfortable with me. But in turn, I don't know how to feel my feelings without being, just like you were saying, if I feel angry, I will put somebody else's, how is that going to affect them first?
Yeah.
If I feel sad, but I can see and understand why they may have done that. And I have to hold compassion for them, because that's it's a more spiritual thing. It's a more grounding thing. As a mother, me just taking on more labor than is humanly possible.
Yeah.
Not asking for help, not.
But are you not asking because you don't think that you would receive it, or you're not asking because you don't want to inconvenience people?
I'm not asking because it didn't feel like a possibility. You know, it felt like this is just what you do. Like, it wasn't a desire that I had, you know, like I'm now conflict is when you have two opposing feelings, right? As I get deeper into myself, as I feel more and more energetically depleted, to be completely honest, like on a physical form, as I'm feeling more emotionally unstable, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And as I sit with it, I'm like, girl, your desires, your needs, your emotions, you have not felt.
Yeah.
So I'm not even at this. I'm now coming to this place of conflict of like, oh, I actually feel anger.
Right. Because you're allowing yourself to. Yeah.
I actually am realizing that, like, oh, you have a right to that, Shanti.
Yeah.
And now I'm like coming into this space of how that conflicts with the patterns that I have created with other people and myself. And how that has then, you know, how I've set up my life in a way. I can't blame it on other people.
Right. Because
I set this shit up.
Right. this is how they know to engage with you.
This is all they know in so many ways. But now I'm like,
I don't like this anymore.
I'm angry. I have desires. I want people to show up for me in a particular way. And I've just swallowed that for a long time in the name of what a mother should do, how a good daughter shows up, how a loyal friend shows up, how a productive, creative, and entrepreneur shows up. The grind culture, the tyranny of the grind culture.
Toxic. It is, it will suck us all dry if we allow it. Yeah.
Mixed with my responsibility as a mom.
Yeah. Oof.
Where is there space for me to feel anything but numb?
Yeah.
You have to go numb.
Yeah.
And it is physically it's in my voice. Like, you guys hear it right now, and it's not a joke. Like, it's really serious for me in my reality right now. Like, oh, I'm sick. My immune system is not showing up for me because energetically I do not give my body those cues to show the fuck up. I'm not in practice of it.
Wow.
Damn it.
Fuck is right. Like, what else do you say? Shit, Shanti.
Help me, Jesus.
Please. Somebody.
We've been socialized to respect fear more than our own needs for language and definition. What's the worst that could happen to me if I tell this truth?
I think for me, what's the worst thing that could happen is the loss of community.
Yeah.
Like, there are times that I feel like if I am truly my most authentic self, and not to say that like I'm some horrible person,
no,
that I'm like this vile human being, but I feel like if my no's were no's and my yeses were yeses, and I just moved the way that I sincerely have been wanting to, I would not have community. I don't know why I feel that way. I don't want to believe that is true, but that is how I feel.
It's the fear. That's fear.
Yep.
That fear is not necessarily rational or true,
right,
but it's real as fuck. I feel similarly. I feel like I would lose my house, my apartment.
Yes.
I feel like I would not know how to put food on the table because it's so connected to my survival, like to my finances, to the platforms that, I've created.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the fear is really, really real. And then to be alone. Yeah. The idea of being alone. Gross. Yuck.
I don't want that. Yes. And I mean, I think even like for you, you have a beautiful daughter, you have a partner. Even the loss of that is terrifying. I don't have anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm like? There have been times that I've thought, God forbid, if I fall, I hurt myself in my apartment, how long will it take for somebody to even notice or recognize that, like, oh, we haven't heard from Naana in a few days? Like, that is a sincere fear of mine. And I don't want my need for people to be a response to literal survival, but it is fundamental for my life. Like, my friends, my tribe, my family is everything to me.
As it should be, as you're genetically and biologically wired for that shit, right? Yeah.
And I think, to your point, fear is not rational. I am so scared that the closer that I get to myself, the further away I will get to the community that I've created.
And I think that's where they got us. I think that's where they I think that's where they got us.
Yeah. It's a okie doke for real. Like that shit can't be real.
No.
Yeah.
No. I think it's so deeply connected to, again, our perception, our addiction to capitalism in a way. Like, you gotta keep going, you gotta save face, you have to be
attain and acquire and just
and do it by yourself, individual, right? You don't rest, you stay on top of your game physically, you are successful when you have a partner, when you have a child, when you have a thriving business, when you have shit to say all the motherfucking time that is politically progressive,
right,
when you're not reeling from an honest period. When you're not reeling an honest period, you're good.
Seemingly.
But you're not. So that's how they got us. And you're not living in your authentic self, and you have no idea. We're scared to be our authentic selves, and we have no idea of the safety, security, and pleasure that we're potentially missing out on in doing this really spiritual thing. That's what I think. It's a deeply spiritual act of resistance on all the levels. And like, it is, Yeah.
I think another concern that comes up for me is the privilege it is to even dissect these kinds of conversations. Like, I have to be honest with myself that there are people in the world who don't get to even sit here and have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes that guilt also, like, there's an association, bringing back to grind culture, like the hustle mentality, like coming from the bottom and whatever that means, like and I think that's why people don't ask for help. That's why they don't ask for support. It's like, if I don't make it on my own, then it invalidates whatever beautiful thing I could be creating. And I think that that's also how they get us, where you are siloed in your own struggle that you've created around because there are people who are willing to help and support you. There are people there that are willing to encourage you, but it doesn't feel real if I can't do it on my own. But who is selling us that story? And then it leaves you again depleted mentally, physically, emotionally, because you're carrying the world on your shoulders when there are plenty of people who would give you a fucking hand. Like, I know that in my heart of hearts, that if I asked any of the people that I know care about me to support me in any way, they would have no problem showing up. Why am I so scared to do that? And why can't I answer that? I can't even answer that for myself.
Don't. More questions than answers on a
girl. I don't know. This weird life is fucking weird.
It is.
It's so ugh.
And fantastic and full of possibilities. Because this can't be it.
No, you're right.
This can't be it.
You're absolutely right.
The more we sit with this, I think the less it feels like holding a hot live wire. And I hope, I pray. And I wonder what happens when you do this for a month. You know, if you commit to this for a month, a week, whatever.
Tomorrow,
no. Capitalism
no. Tomorrow is March 1st.
Tomorrow. Okay. Do it for a week, girl. You know, for me, 5 days straight is
achievement. Exactly. Victory.
Is enough
to rejoice.
Yes.
Okay, so
it's a lot, and maybe it gets. I know that it gets easier and it gets deeper, and it helps unravel things more.
Yeah. But I also wonder if the questions start getting answered.
No, guaranteed. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. If you keep going back to these same questions,
We're
Yes.
gonna start tomorrow. Yes, for a week. Let's. Can we keep
March
each
1st.
other accountable?
All right. Yes, let's do that. From Black History Month, we are going out with accountability and self-love,
Yes.
as our ancestors would may not have had the privilege to do, right? So
certainly couldn't. No, I can't even. It's interesting these days because my mom is she's been staying with me, which is another thing
over there.
But like I said, I'm in therapy, and so sometimes I'll have sessions, and she usually excuses herself and finds something to do so that I can have some privacy. But when she comes back, she always asks like, "What's happening?" And it's been,
she asks, "What's happening?
What's going on? What do you guys talk about?" And I'm like, "You."
You see these tears on my face?
Exactly. And it's been really interesting. Sometimes I share, sometimes I don't, because of course, feeling really responsible for how she may emotionally react to some of the things that come up doesn't allow us to have certain conversations just yet. But it's been interesting when I do share how I can see her start thinking about what experiences she went through as a child, and maybe it's very clear that a lot of the trauma that I carry is generational, and it's been passed down from my grandmother to my mother to me. And my mother is 60, she's going to be 62 this year, and seeing her have revelations and conversations she never conceivably thought that she would at this age or ever there's a pain there, but it is also really, really amazing to experience with her, because that is something that I'm able to offer her in a way that I don't, and no one could have, it feels like, so
yeah,
it's the hard work. Yeah, we're doing the hard work right now, and I hope that when I am fortunate to mother a child, that they won't have to endure some of these things, because enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough
doing
is
the
enough.
Lord's work.
Please, Jesus, just give
going.
me the
keep
I'm trying.
going.
I'm trying. I don't know how successful I am, but I am.
No,
I'm definitely trying.
Definitely, absolutely are. Thank you for bearing your soul.
Oh, thank you for giving me the space to do that.
And I know your words resonate with a lot of people, and in a way, we're collectively in this shit together. So, in all of our fear of being alone, we aren't.
We aren't.
We aren't.
That shit is not
all
real.
In this shit. No, and like, fear is real. Shout out to all the things we don't know how to say. Shout out to all of the things that we know aren't real, that we still wince and cower from. But also, no, we're going to break through some things. Absolutely. If we keep returning back. And I guess my hope is for myself, for you, to keep returning back to ourselves and following these prompts.
Yeah.
Keep coming back to ourselves. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for another episode of Around the Way Curls. Antoinette will be back next week for all the hoot and nanny.
Yeah, all the hoots and the nannies.
All the hoots and the nannies. I didn't give you a proper introduction, so I apologize for that. You family now, like, they just know who it is. Exactly. Shout out to the most guest appearances on Around the Way Curls goes to Naana from Workface Podcast. If you want to follow her amazing work, style, she shares wonderful things on her stories. I always really enjoy them.
Oh, thank you.
Her. Tell the people where they can follow you, Queen.
So many places. So if you are into the fashion of things, I'm really excited about a project that I'm coming out with this year. You can follow me at I Am Yurenki. That's IAMYIRENKYI. And to all of our lovely Around the Way Girls fans, who found Workday. The pod is coming back.
Yes.
I'm not going to give us a timeline because y'all will be asking, but the pod is coming back. And you can find us on all streaming platforms and all social platforms at Workday Pod on Twitter, Instagram, all those things. And yeah.
Yes. And for those of you who want to get in on this, we starting on March 1st. We don't March 1. Mm-hmm. You can just search on the interwebs. Oh God, not me not knowing what it is. Audre Lorde's Questionnaire to Self. I think that no. I think that's actually right. All right, Questionnaire to Oneself. And again, this is adapted by Divya Victor from Audre Lorde's Cancer Journals. Mm-hmm. And thank you for listening. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Woo! Girl,
and we did it.
Oh my God, I really appreciate you.
You're so welcome. So welcome. Ooh, girl. It's like I can't be crying on this podcast.
No. I knew that some tears were gonna come, child.
I hate it.
But yeah, I am going to I gotta take care of myself.
Please.
You gotta take care of yourself.
Yes. We gotta take care of each other. Cause this shit, like you said, this can't be life. This can't be life. It's gotta be more. No. This is not it at all. At all. Oh my Lord. Next steps. Do you need anything from me?
I need just a nice, beautiful photo of you, please. And let me get off of this recording right quick. Bye, everybody.